Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit. Am I the a-hole? This one's from user Kind Vehicle. Am I the a-hole for not giving my son's future husband wedding jewelry? We are Indian, and in my culture, it is tradition to give the bride a lot of gold sets of jewelry for her wedding. When each of my children were born, I bought a set for both my daughters and a set for my son's future wife. I also have my own personal collection of wedding jewelry that I have divided for daughters and future daughter-in-law. When my son came out as gay, I redistributed my collection to give them mainly to my daughters, but I kept a few sets in case my son ever had a daughter. Now that my son is getting married, his future husband is wondering about his gifts. While it is tradition for parents to give their future son or daughter-in-law a gift, since he is a man, I got him a kara, which is a Sikh bracelet usually made of steel, but I got him one made from solid gold, and my son has a matching one. He told my son that he doesn't want a religious gift for his wedding and that he found it tacky. That is fine if he doesn't like it, but I was going through my collection the other day to pull out pieces I want to coordinate for my outfits so that I can order my outfits in advance. And he saw me and wanted to see everything and give input. I also showed him the sets I have saved if they have a daughter. He is insisting that he gets these sets first and then he will give them to their daughter if they have one. In particular, there is a pair of emerald and diamond earrings I got from my own paternal grandmother that I would like to give to my son's daughter, if they have one. I told him no because I set these aside for just a granddaughter and not a son. If he chooses to wear jewelry to his wedding, I really don't mind. But I picked all these sets special for a daughter or daughter-in-law, and I don't want to waste them on a boy. These sets are to be worn with saris and lengas, and I don't want him to have them. My future son-in-law is calling me homophobic for not sharing, but I think it would be a waste to give them to a man to accessorize with a tuxedo. And I did not originally buy these for him in the first place. Am I the a-hole? Also, even though he likes jewelry, he does not wear women's clothes, so I know he would never wear it with a lenga the way this jewelry should be worn. The judgment is not the a-hole. Now let's take a look at the top comments. Random username 2895 says, not the a-hole. It's women's jewelry meant to be passed to women in the family. Also, a kara sometimes people wear as bracelets too. So it's super ungrateful of him to not accept that. It's also shady that he was eyeing your jewelry and demanding for it. Even women, daughters or daughters-in-law don't demand jewelry like that. Hannibal Barca says, not the a-hole. He should respect your culture and your feelings. It is a gift from you to their daughter. And finding a solid gold bracelet tacky, which I find very cool, is kind of a crappy thing to do. It was a gift. Rowan the Boat 00 says, not the a-hole. You bought the jewelry for a woman and you are under no obligation to give it to your son-in-law. You've also pointed out that he wouldn't even be able to wear some of them probably as he is wearing a tux. When you specified which pieces he wanted to save for his future daughter that he might not even have, my first thought is that he's going to try and sell them. Additionally, he said that he doesn't want religious wear and that he thought it was tacky. I also find it strange that he wants to hold on to it and give it to his future daughter himself instead of having you give it to her. After all, it would be a gift from you in the end. I may be jumping to conclusions, but don't give him the jewelry as there's a chance you might not see it again. OP responds, I don't think he's going to sell anything because my son is a doctor, so he should be quite comfortable. He is just coming from the angle that it is not fair because if he were a woman, he would be given all this jewelry I saved and then he would have handed it down to his daughter. But he can't even wear the tika, and since he isn't a woman, there won't be a lot of places he can even wear this. I also want to hand this down from woman to woman generationally, which he has an issue with and finds homophobic. OP's edit. Just to clarify, my son will be having a Sikh wedding, and since he is religious, my future son-in-law agreed beforehand that their household would be Sikh and any future children would be Sikh. Son-in-law was raised Catholic but isn't very religious now, but is spiritual. But being Sikh means a lot to my son. Our religion, or at least the way we practice it, is very open-minded, accepting and loving, so future son-in-law was on board. I got him a gold kara because that is the same gift I got for my other two son-in-laws. Also, the kara does not have any religious text on it. If you aren't Sikh, you would assume it's just a gold bracelet, but anyone who is Sikh would know it is. OP seconded it. Have been reading the comments and need to clear things up. Future son-in-law is Catholic and Caucasian. His family is not as well off financially, so we will also be helping pay for the wedding. Just for the sake of equality, because we also contributed X amount for each daughter's wedding, so we will give X amounts to son's wedding. If I had a lesbian daughter, her wife would be getting gold sets of jewelry. It also wasn't my idea for their wedding to be Sikh or children to be Sikh. My son had a very difficult time after he finished his undergrad, and he took that time to reconnect with God, pray, meditate, and his connection to Sikhism is what anchored him, and that is why before getting married, he had to know if his spouse would be okay with that. Also, when we say children being raised Sikh, that means if they are a girl, their middle name would be Kaur, and if they are a boy, their middle name would be Singh. Also, my son is a doctor and my son-in-law is a high school teacher, so I don't think money is an issue. OP's third edit. I've been reading all your comments and I really appreciate the discussion happening, but a lot of comments are hung up on the words wasted on a boy. I understand why some people are offended, but I wanted to make sure you have the facts as well. Look at these photos of Sikh brides. Most of these wedding jewelry sets come together: headpiece, earrings, nose rings, choker and necklace. The choker and necklace would not fit him. He does not wear nose rings. He would not be able to wear the headpiece, and he could just wear the earrings. Also, the gold bracelets I have from my personal collection would not fit him, so to give them to him symbolically would be a waste. Okay, so after reading the post, the comments and all of the information in the edits, I believe that OP is not the a-hole. And also, it doesn't sound like she's homophobic either. I would believe, and please correct me if you think I'm wrong, that if OP was homophobic, she would have said, I don't want to give you this jewelry because you're gay. This is about traditions, not about acceptance of sexual preference. And also, if OP were to be homophobic, wouldn't she also have problems with her son? Additionally, she says quite clearly in the edit that if she had a lesbian daughter, her wife would be getting gold sets of jewelry. Now regarding the money thing, that whether he wants the jewelry or not to sell it, I'm on the fence about that one because OP makes a good point. If they're comfortable with money as a couple, then why the need to sell jewelry? Anyways, what do you guys think about this whole thing? In the meantime, how about we move on with the update to see what ended up happening? Hi Reddit, thank you so much for your responses, good or bad. Some of the things you replied to my post did upset me. Many of you applauded me for supporting my son, but mostly because you are so deprived of support from your own families that you were impressed that I was doing anything at all. I didn't like the way this sat with me. I don't want to be doing the bare minimum. Since my son and future son are staying with us right now, I decided to discuss some of the points you all made and work this out. I showed him photos from my own wedding, and we both agreed that the jewelry was made for female outfits and the female body. I also talked to him about the cultural significance of the kara and what it means to me for him to have it, and he apologized and said he was out of line. I think there was some tension because, as many of you said, the word homophobic should not be carelessly thrown around. When my son first came out over 15 years ago, he interpreted my shock as disapproval, and it created a barrier in our relationship. We put in a lot of time and effort in therapy as a family to make sure our son felt supported. So when my future son-in-law called me homophobic, it made everything feel very hostile to me. But he explained that he was taking things personally mainly because his own family is outwardly accepting, but there are still little things they do that make him feel unwelcomed, which causes him to feel hypersensitive about these issues. So, we decided that a gay Sikh wedding is not traditional, so the jewelry given should also not be traditional. We have decided to make a new tradition. And when everything is back to normal, we, me, my husband, son, and future son, will be taking a trip to India so he can see my pinned hometown and my husband's pinned. And we will get a special set of gold bracelets that are more ornate than a kara for him and my son. And earrings made special just for him. Heirlooms all start out as new to someone, right? Wow, OP, you sound like the coolest person ever. And your husband by extension. The way you approached this whole thing is so freaking awesome. Instead of getting angry and acting out or whatever, you decided to confront this thing from a logical standpoint and discussed things openly. You discussed your point of view openly with your son-in-law, and he acknowledged that you were in the right. And also, he acknowledged that the whole homophobic thing was a hang-up that he had regarding his family and not you guys. So that's also out of the way. And I think the coolest part of all is that you're not like bogged down in how a traditional wedding has to be. You can follow your culture and traditions and make them fit the wedding that you want to make, which in this case is a gay Sikh wedding. You and your husband sound like lovely people, and your son and future son-in-law are extremely lucky to have you guys in their lives. So like you say, when everything goes back to normal, and hopefully that'll be soon, you guys can take that trip to India. All the best to you and your family and your son's future wedding. And now let's continue with the next post. This one's from user AITA Throw. Am I the a-hole for outing my younger sister to my older sister? So I, 18 female, recently heard a very similar story on here where the OP got the a-hole verdict, so I kinda accepted that I'm an a-hole as well. However, I told my boyfriend about this and he says that I'm not the a-hole. Well, I have 5 siblings. My older sister, 24 female, is getting married soon. Health restrictions have been lifted in my area and everyone that's coming needs to be tested. Mostly everyone is happy for my sister, except for my younger sister who is almost 14. All she talks about is her, what cake flavor she likes, what dress she thinks bridesmaids should wear, what themes she wants. And since she's the second youngest, no one reminds her that it's not her wedding. Well, about 2 weeks ago, she told me her master plan to come out as lesbian at our sister's wedding and have her cousin film it for TikTok. She planned on raising her hand when they asked for objections and come out to everyone. I kept telling her not to, but she says that I'm homophobic. I tried for a whole week to convince her not to, but then I decided to tell my older sister about her plans. She tried to speak to younger sister, but younger sister was pissed that I outed her and said that she will also tell everyone about both of our homophobia. My older sister decided that she couldn't come to the wedding. Now we are trying to figure out how to tell my mom without outing her again. So, am I the a-hole for telling my sister about my younger sister's plans, and would I be the a-hole if I told my mom why younger sister is no longer invited? The judgment is not the a-hole. Now let's take a look at the top comments. We'll send you a postcard says, not the a-hole. Younger sister sounds like one though. Seems like she just wants an audience and will use older sister's wedding for it. Also, younger sister needs to know what homophobia actually means. Zaru77 says, not the a-hole one bit. Your younger sister needs to learn that 1. Not everything is about her. 2. There is a time and a place for everything. And 3. It's not because you don't want her coming out at a specific time that was for your older sister's wedding that you're homophobic. I would have given your little sister a pass if she was really young, but the girl is 14. I am 15. I know a lot of other 15-year-olds. None of us would ever make a wedding about ourselves. Just basic courtesy. Deleted says, holy crap, not the a-hole, not the a-hole, not the a-hole. It's important for people to be able to express who they are, and someone's sexuality is a big part of who they are. But you don't hijack someone's wedding, and definitely not for TikTok. What the F? Get her a therapist, cause that's narcissistic as F. Yeah, OP, I don't think you're the a-hole on this one either. Like the last commenter said, you don't hijack somebody else's wedding. You don't announce a pregnancy at somebody else's wedding, you don't propose at somebody else's wedding, and we can add this one to the list. You don't come out at somebody else's wedding. What do you guys think? Do you think OP is the a-hole? Let me know in the comment section, and also let me know what you would do. And now, let's move on with the update to see how this story continued. So, we decided to have a family coming out party while older sister was away on her honeymoon. We had a great time and it was nice to bond with the family. Then, the wedding. Older sister and her significant other decided to leave out the objections part, but it was kind of funny to see my little sister's face when that happened. Other than that, the wedding was awesome. Good food, nice dancing at the beach. Well, now my younger sister has a girlfriend. After a while, I showed her this thread, and she was really upset looking at all the responses. Not in a mad way, more in a confused way. She didn't realize and has always struggled with how her actions may come across to someone besides herself. Also, please stop trying to diagnose my sister. She is not a sociopath. You really heard one story about one instance from one person's life and are ready to make a full diagnosis. Ugh, that annoyed me. However, thank you all for your replies to my last post. That meant so much. Well, OP, I'm really happy your little sister didn't ruin your older sister's wedding and that you guys had a coming out party for her, and that now she has a girlfriend. Also, I think it's really cool that you showed her the thread and she reacted in a way that made her reflect upon her behavior. That's really cool. Now, regarding some people trying to diagnose your sister, well, we've seen this in many different posts. In this community, apart from the level-headed people that give their opinion, there's also a bunch of armchair psychologists, as they're called, that, try to dissect every little piece of a post and come with a full-on psychological diagnosis. I'm not sure you can actually be upset about that, because that kinda comes with the territory when you post a situation on Am I the A-hole? Anyways, thanks for sharing your post, OP. All the best. And so, we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe to reach our goal of 100,000 subscribers. Also, if you feel like chatting with others from this community, you can always join my Discord server and check out my subreddit. I'll leave the links in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video.